Good day, and I'm going to introduce you to the latest camera in my film camera collection. Not digital, I do have several digital cameras, but I'm focusing on film cameras. And this is a $10 pickup at Livier's Antiques in downtown St. John's, Newfoundland. I looked at it one day, went back the next day. I thought 10 bucks, can't really lose, I guess, even if it's just a shelf item. And it may turn out to be so, because there is an issue or two that I'll talk about. But this is the camera. It is an Ansco flash clipper. Flash meaning there is a flash that goes right here. Of course, I got my fingers backwards. Flash mount. It's a cold shoe. There's nothing there but a little bracket to hold the flash in place. And these two are the terminal points for your flash. So it's a proprietary flash. There should be two lines coming off it, two wires coming off it, with connections that go into here. And that will give you a synced flash. The only other thing that you'll see along the top here is the winder. Sorry, again, using it in reverse here. The winder, which only turns in one direction, as you would expect, for loading your film or advancing your film. And when I first looked at it, I think even the guy that was selling it wasn't sure. I said, this shutter doesn't appear to be flicking. It's tight here. I didn't want to force it because I wasn't sure what the deal was. But it turns out that the reason it wasn't advancing is because this portion of the camera, actually, this portion right here, actually pops out. So I'm going to pull it out, show you what I mean. So it snaps when it goes into place. All right, so it's almost like a bellows style camera, but this is a metal frame all the way around it, protecting the light from going into the camera. And I had to push in on a couple of tabs here, and that actually released it to make it go forward. To return it, basically you touch these silver bands and push them in, and it will push back in, but otherwise it stays out. And when I did that, I realized, let's see if I can demonstrate this. Yep, the camera, in fact, does have a shutter that releases. I'm not sure the speed of the shutter. If I can find out that information, I'll put it up online here. The other thing is, let's see, over here, there is, where's it to? Oh, right, it's way out here. Forgot it was in this portion of the camera. This is basically your bulb feature. So I don't know if I've just reset it or I have it the way it was. Let's see. Okay, so that's regular shutter mode. And up will be bulb feature. And I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, there you go. Just barely. Lighting's terrible for this, sorry. Yeah, and I don't have my angles right. There you go. It's open. All right, so the shutter is open for as long as I pull down on the shutter release. So that's your bulb feature or time feature. Not sure how effective it is, but anyway, that's what that does. There's a little piece on the front here that allows you to lay this camera flat, and because this is a little bit not quite to the bottom of the camera, this extra little piece keeps things flat. So if you put it on a flat surface, my hand obviously is not one, it will point sort of, not down as you would expect, but up, because it's being supported by this little bracket, which is kind of cool. So it's purposeful. There is no, unfortunately, tripod mount on the bottom of this, which would be nice. All these old cameras, that's the one thing I think they lack that they should have. On the back, I'll just flip it around. It's pretty plain to see. You have your little view area here for your film advance, so you know what number you're on. But this takes 6:16 film. Which is no longer made. It's very wide format. I think it's 70 millimeters wide. So 7 centimeters. No, maybe, yeah, 70 millimeters wide. The eyepiece up here for your viewfinder is very small, round little piece. And one of the hardest things about this camera, obviously it hinges on this side. So it opens on this side. And it took me a little bit of doing here to figure this out. But there's a slide, and I knew that was there. So I figured, well, you pull down on that or push up, one or the other, and it should open very easily. And it turns out it wasn't doing that. But I found out that you really got to give the pull, including, let's see if I can do it here on screen. Put it There you go. Now, it took a little bit of doing, but the release is not like a pop and then you can just pull it apart. You really got to work on it, and you really got to grab this portion of the camera in order to do so. So again, you'll note over here, if you can see it, my hand's in the way sort of. Ansco 616 film is what's expected to be used in this. Ansco no longer makes film, I don't think, unless it's under another name. I think GAF was another name that they went to. You can see the lenses through there, and the film gate is pretty wide here. All right, so you get a pretty large frame running along here and down and over. Obviously, that is going to be the image portion inside of that, and that's pretty big. But the most I can use is 120 film on this, and it won't be as wide. And in order to use 120 film, you can't really re-spool 120, I don't think, onto this successfully. Though people may have done so. I do have a take-up reel over here that I can use, and I think I have another camera that has a 616 reel too. So I guess there is the possibility to re-spool, but the problem is the film is narrower in terms of up and down, the width, than the 120. All right, the 120 is narrower than this particular spool, so it could be sliding up and down. It could give you openings at the top and the bottom, depending on how you've spooled it. And I don't know what effect that would actually have on the film that you're shooting. But I do know people use 35mm in 120 format cameras with some adaptations, obviously. So, you know, who knows? I was going to say that the one thing I noticed, even though the camera was dirty and, you know, it wasn't a tidy example of anything here, it still needs a bit of a cleanup. The one thing I did notice was that the top was let go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this thing back in first. I don't know if I got that on camera. Let me get this out. Again, you push in on the little pins here and then push in on the front face of the camera. In she goes. What I did notice is this over here. And I don't know if that's visible on screen, but there's a gap there. I don't know what's preventing that from staying down. I don't know if I could just glue it down in place or what, but before I try to shoot with this thing, which I probably will down the road, after I get my 120 to 616 adapters for film. I have another camera as well, a Kodak Brownie Target 616 that I'd like to shoot on, probably before I shoot with this one, because I think I get better results because it was a much cleaner camera. But that's down the road. So really what I want to do is figure out how to get this cemented to the top of the camera so that it's not rising and falling like it is currently. All right, so that is my Ansco flash clipper, and this is a 1940s to 50s camera range. I think it was made somewhere between the 1940s and the 1950s. And I think it was their first introduction to film cameras. They had made film prior to, but I think this was their very first camera for the masses. Anyway, thanks for joining me.